This video is brought to you by tbirdbob.com, your source for 2002 to 2005 Ford Thunderbird parts. So today I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to you about a popular topic, overheating in these engines. Now there's a little variation between the two engines. The O2's got the hydraulic cooling fan, 03-5 has an electric fan. Lots of discussions, arguments, and all that. I'll go in a little bit to the hydraulic fan. But what I'd like to do today is just to provide a high-level overview of my opinion of how to do diagnostics on overheating issues. So the first and most important thing is, if your car overheats, stop. Hard stop. Do not drive the car again. Do not let it overheat again, because eventually you will blow the head gaskets. Maybe the second time, might be the fifth time, might be the 30th time, but you will eventually blow the head gaskets. And I can tell you from a number of people I've talked to, especially when you get into a high mile car, blowing the head gaskets is the kiss of death. It's very expensive to replace. I've heard Ford dealers tell their customers that you need a new engine if the head gaskets go. So again, avoid a repeat letting the car overheat again. Just a horrible idea to keep driving it and hoping for the best. If it overheats once, it's going to happen again. So first things you want to do is make sure your fan's working and make sure your thermostat's working. Those are just two basic things, but oddly they're often overlooked. A quick note on the O2. So the O2's got a hydraulic cooling fan. Spins, sends the pump, sends the fluid to the fan. That's what makes it work. The O2's got an actuator here. This actuator is what turns it off and on. One trick, if you suspect you've got a bad actuator, use a star bolt, open it up, take it apart, remove a small pin inside of it, put it back together, try the car again. With the pin removed, if the actuator was at fault, the fan should continuously run when the engine's running. So just a tip on that. So again, overheats, hard stop. Don't drive the car. Don't let it overheat again. You'll regret it. The other thing that overheating causes is, it can cause your thermostat housing to crack because it's hotter than it's designed for and likely to crack. So so your fan's working, your thermostat's working. What's next? Well, the most likely cause of your overheating, if those two things are working, is air in your system. So how and why did air get in your system? That's the $1 million question. If you've recently had your car serviced and then done any coolant work and you overheat, and you're still overheating, and let's say they did fix what the problem was, they didn't properly burp the system. Again, bleeding, burping is removing the air from the system. When you have air trapped in your system, it's often going to be trapped in the thermostat housing, so there's no coolant in there. It's not cooling off, it'll keep getting hotter. And often your degauss bottle will show that you're full of fluid because air is taking the place of the fluid, and it looks as though it's full, even though it's not. So again, how did you get air in the system? If you've had it serviced, they probably didn't bleed, burp the system properly. Now, the best way to burp the system is under a vacuum. Shops that specialize in radiators, heating, cooling issues have a machine. They put it on, they draw a vacuum, bam, they're done. Air's gone. It takes a matter of minutes. Personally, using the bleeder valve here, I've had limited success on burping these engines. I'm somewhere probably about 50% of the time I can do it properly. Other times it just doesn't work. So we covered bleeding. We're at the point where, okay, you probably have air in the system. How the air get in? If you didn't have it recently serviced, odds are you have a leak somewhere in the system. Radiator coolant fluid is leaking out, air is going in the system. So how do you find the leak? maybe you've got a leak on the ground, maybe you can figure out where it's coming from. Not the most efficient way, but often people have no idea where it's coming from. I can give you a personal experience. I had an overheat, did not have a drop of coolant on the floor. I took it to my shop, and what they did, and this is the best way, sometimes the only way, to figure out where the leak is to inject a UV dye into your coolant system. And once they've done that, they use the light. They typically find your leak in about 5 minutes. On mine, I had a pinhole leak in the radiator, and again, was not putting any fluid on the ground because it was so small, and it's not pressurized when it's sitting in the garage. So you get out on the road, and that's probably where it was leaking. Air getting the system caused an overheat. So again, look for a shop that specializes in heating, cooling. Sometimes they're called radiator shops. Many general shops can do it too, but not everybody has the correct equipment. So find out where your leak is, fix the leak, and again, it could be a hose, it could be a radiator, it could be a thermostat housing, it could be a host of issues. There's a real difficult one is there's actually a hose that goes underneath your intake, but again, they can find it and fix it. So I think I've covered everything I want to cover. Again, do not drive your car if it's overheating. If you like this video, follow and subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Facebook. Thanks for watching.